think a lot of people try and focus on going viral rather than giving actual value towards the people they want to attract for a client. Stop trying to go viral and give more value behind what their business is. That makes sense.
Okay, I want a coaching. Who am I going to go to? His content's super helpful, and I really like the way he articulates stuff, rather than the guy who dances around the gym like a performing clown. That makes sense.
It's TikTok, bro. Shit. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It's fucked up, right?
Yeah, but it's fucked up.
Because the good stuff doesn't work.
It's the good stuff, yeah. But also, in reality,
if you're an online trainer looking to grow your business, you're in for a treat today. Today I've got Joss Mooney from Elevate Agency. Me and Joss have never really connected, but we've floated around the same places, Dubai and Marbella, and probably seen each other online for fucking about the last 6-7 years. So it's interesting to have a conversation now. Joss has been very successful in terms of being on reality TV. I think we're on Love Island, weren't you? Not Love Island.
Do we have to have that conversation?
Yeah, we can talk about it. It's relevant. You've done lots of cool, out there shit like that, which I think is relevant for building a brand.
Yeah.
You've also built a big audience, got 1 million followers on Instagram, now run your own agency, got your own coaching business, so you have a lot of value to give to the audience. First thing I want to ask you is, what do you think is the biggest mistake most people make when it comes to growing their online fitness business?
I think because we live in such a world where everything's so fast-paced and instant that they think it's going to happen overnight. So therefore they give up too easily before going through the peaks and troughs to get to where they actually want to be. You know, we live in such a instant world when it comes down to anything, your food, WhatsApp calls, all this kind of stuff. In reality, business takes years, but that overnight success is never that. True?
100%. And this is a good thing for context. When did you first start online?
Oh my God, bro. So I started training people in the gym probably like 23. I remember building really, I'm 34. I remember building a really shit website, a PDF book when I was like 26, 27. Didn't make any money for a long time. And it was like, and there was no mentorships, there was no fast tracks, there was no telling you what to do. No one holding me accountable either. I just did it because I enjoyed it. And that's what people don't understand when I'm trying to coach people. We'll give you a 3-month mentorship to hit your first 5 figures in 3 months, which took me like 8 years. Like, it was long, but people don't see that, you know?
And that's what I say to people all the time is like, I've sold nearly $10 million of fitness coaching and I didn't have me to help me. And it's interesting you saying that because we both started at a similar time. There wasn't anyone to fucking tell me what to do, so I was just working out.
You just wing it.
Yeah.
It was trial and error, but it's what you enjoy to do. Like, it was, I don't know what my even thought process was. I remember I got to a point where I was too busy in the gym and I was like, oh, I need my time back. And now that's a really significant pain point for everyone that we try and pick out to help people grow, right? But we just naturally developed that. Like, I need to go in a different direction. I was like, I'll go on... what's the website called? Wix.
I remember that Wix store, right?
Wix store,
I used to sell shit ebooks on that as well.
Yeah. So it was exactly that. And then literally just crappy ebooks and start pushing it out. It was Twitter days then as well.
I remember that as well.
And then even like, I remember Instagram came about and then I'd boost my post not knowing where the fuck it was going. I'd just be boosting it. Like, and it would slowly but surely get traction. But then I started to do the actual personal one-to-one kind of stuff, and that's where I kind of started to get some revenue finally.
And I think the big thing most people don't understand, the reason why I wanted to ask you that is it takes a lot of rep to get there. Like, I don't know, I've fucking done like 6,500 posts on Instagram or something, and my fitness podcast has 300-400 episodes, let alone how many this one's got now. And the reality is that people think everything's an overnight success, but like they only see the highlight reel. They don't see all the shit stuff that goes on behind the scenes, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it's frustrating because like today, everyone's spammed with different ways to earn money. FBA, e-commerce, you got these crypto millionaires earning loads of money in their fucking bedroom, like their mum's house. And so people get distracted on those quick wins and they
think that's reality.
They don't stick at anything. But on the upside, what those people who are earning money so fast, so young, they don't know what it takes to keep growing the business. So when they have their first flop or dip within their business, they'll probably have that give up mindset because they haven't been through it. Whereas we can back ourselves because we have experience. That makes sense.
Yeah, and the most important thing for anyone to understand is that like it's not actually about earning the money that's the important thing. It's the skills you fucking learn and the person you become in the process to make the money. Because if I lost everything fucking tomorrow, I'd fucking start again, and in another year I'd have a fucking another 7-figure business because I got the connection skills and I know what to do.
Yeah.
Whereas if someone just gave you $1 million, you're like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do with this?
You'd also spunk it straight away.
Yeah,
just buy everything. No, I couldn't agree more. It's you can't buy experience.
And I think what people want is the highs without the lows, and it's always been the shittest things that have happened that have taught me the most. Like, I had my Instagram account to say, "Oh, this is a fucking not a good story. This is a bad story."
Shit.
I got divorced January 6th, 2021 from a 14-year relationship. The day afterwards, I gave away my house, all my personal possessions, basically everything I'd fucking worked for, to be like, "Fuck this! I'm burning the bridges. I'm going to Dubai." The day afterwards, I was sitting on about to speak on a podcast, a big podcast, in a hotel room because I've been kicked out of my house in Kingston in London. Opened my Instagram account, got disabled 5 minutes before this podcast. I was like, fuck my life. And for me, I just remember at the time, I think I'd read the saying, it's like, it's not about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about learning to dance in the rain.
I've got that tattooed.
Have you actually? Yeah. Have you actually?
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck's sake. But what I learned from that was huge. One thing is I'd always been preparing for that moment, because like you can't have all your revenue coming from one thing, because that fucks off, you're done. So I literally sat down, worked at all the numbers of my business, and I was like, okay, even without the income from that, like we have enough clients coming from other places, Instagram accounts, LinkedIn ads, whatever, we'd be fine. And then I did get my account back 3 weeks later. Fortunately, I had a guy, thank you very much, Greg, who works for Facebook, who was a follower of mine. He got my account back. Thank you.
Everyone needs a Greg.
Yeah, everyone needs a Greg in their life. And I remember the moment I was in a coffee shop in London. I was like, fucking yes. Everyone just looked at me like, what's wrong with him? But you know, when you like, it's a defining moment you remember. And it was actually 5 minutes before talking at an event as well. So I was like super pumped to that. The other, I think probably the worst thing that happened to me is I woke up to an email. Have you worked with Macroactive before in their software system stuff, right? So payment gateways are a fucker. I had an email I woke up to and was like, you're fucked. Your business is finished. Basically, I had too many payment disputes and Stripe was shutting my account down, which was like, that's a fucking ideal timing. I managed to work my way around it, and they did shut that account down. I was making like 30K a month. But I managed to keep my other accounts going. And all those things have taught me big lessons in terms of like, if you have a problem, you shouldn't probably ignore it, because like, and that's when I say to people now, is like, what's important is the advice people give you, but it's also like what they tell you not to do is also more important, so you don't hit the fucking proverbial iceberg, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. That's a shit show, bro.
And that's
when you bounce back, so it's fine.
But like people don't see that. And actually, the ironic timing of things was like, I'd probably just dumped like 90% of my cash into investments, like probably like the month before. I bought a property here in Dubai, shitloads into crypto, and then my payment gateway went down. And I was like, okay, I was like, this is good timing. And that's why, like, I always believe in the thing of like, things happen for you, not to you. So it's like, it's a lesson to learn of like, when you have a bigger business, like you need to think about these things, because things can sometimes happen.
It's like that. I try and say that to everyone. Any problem that is in your life, especially within business, it's just telling you a route not to go down. So you've trialed it, like you've gone through it. All right, we'll go again. It's just like a game, you know. Your failures and the resistance is just you've got to go through that to learn. The more you like fail, the more you're going to learn. So those like obstacles you've come across, it's just leading you to a better life essentially. If you have the resilience.
And then it's the 3 R's to say to people you need to have is like the resilience. You need to be relentless, and then the other one is, I fucking forgot now. There's another R that will come back to me. But like, you just need to be like consistent in terms of your mindset, because so many people just, something happens and they just fucking fold like a sack of shit, and you see it in people. And it's like, and you know, in sales, right? I'll give an example. I think December last year, I closed 15 sales calls in the world, and I thought it was the fucking greatest thing since sliced bread. I was like, I'm fucking Jordan Belfort reincarnated. And then I think they went 5-0, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and it's you just have to take things like that on the chin. And I think for me, it's like, when I have a really fucking good day financially, I'm like, embrace this moment, because tomorrow could be really shit.
That's so true, Joe. Bro, I've been in like, my girlfriend sees it, I can be in the like really tired, miserable mood, not a close one, and I am the happiest person to be around. And it's a bad and a good way to be, but like, you've got, it's like you say, you've got to have the resilience as well. But you've got to enjoy what you do. Like, I love the fact, like, getting a sale in is amazing, okay? Everyone loves doing that. But I also love like the 20-year-old kid who's been taken off the gym floor, and he's just done like $5,000 in his first month. He's done 10 grand in his second month. He's coming towards the end of the mentorship, and he wants to like build his own platform. And I'm just like, yes, that's exactly why we do this. That's fucking nice.
But that's having impact, and you would know what I mean in terms of at some point, it comes to the point that like more money doesn't really mean much. It's like, and you would have found this from selling shitty programs on Wix. It's like, I remember like the first time I sold a £15 program, I was like, fucking yes. And then like £150 program, I was like, yes. And eventually it keeps going up, and then you almost become numb to fucking money, and it doesn't really make any difference. But then what you then get that feeling for is someone saying like, you fucking changed my life. Like I'm retiring my mum and like stuff like that. You're like, fuck me, that's deep.
Yeah. That's the best thing. No, you're right there. Like money's just a byproduct. So I mean, that's another thing with these get rich quick thing. There's no passion behind it as well. But helping people help people is probably one of the best businesses. I'm so happy to be in it as well. But if you're just doing e-commerce, selling things on Amazon from China, like what it's not fulfilling. You're literally, you're doing it for money, which is fantastic. You can do other stuff with that money, but the actual process, I don't think is that wholesome.
It's not rewarding.
It's not rewarding.
No one's thanking you for like, I bought this shitty spoon from Amazon. It's like,
isn't it? Yeah. So that's why I love what we do, is because we're actually helping people. And the thing is, us being out in Dubai, you'll probably have it too. There's an element of shit you get across the internet because you might think like they're showing off, but in reality, you're just showing the lifestyle of what can be done from helping other people. That makes sense.
100%.
But people think you're a douchebag when you don't mean it to come across that way. But it's just because generally you've probably helped thousands and thousands of people. That's why you're able to do it. I
think people have actually said to me that you don't post enough personal stuff enough. Like, so I've started to do it
you
more.
You don't want
to know. And the reality is, I think that a lot of people there's a lot of people also online who it's complete fucking bullshit and live at their mum's basement, and they're trying to be a guru doing something. And I think that's where people need to ask questions to themselves of like, who is this person and what they've done? Because at a certain point, the highest level of authority with anything is the person who's done the thing and they can teach other people to do the thing. And I think that's where most people get unstuck, is they get lured in by something that seems to be good to be true, and that seems too clever. Yeah. And if it is too clever, it's probably not going to fucking work.
That's so true. That's why within our business with Elevate, anyone who is a part of our team, they need to have been a successful coach first and come in, and everyone's come through our ranks. And that's what a lot of people probably won't realise with me and you. We've done everything from the very bottom.
And done it the wrong way at the beginning as well.
All the wrong ways. It gives me goosebumps, bro. But like being a PT, being shit at it, got good at it, got to the ceiling, no time, had a website, shit at it, earn a bit of money, so on and so on and so on, until we train people to do what we do. And that's the beauty of it. That's what people need to. That's why you need to get on a call with us when you speak to us, and you don't just, if you came across our Instagrams and profiles on socials, you just think douchebag, and I get that. On paper, I look like a douchebag. It's fine. Give me 10 minutes.
And I think that's why I like long form content like this, because they can see people's personalities and the way they come across.
Yeah.
What would you say has been like the biggest thing you've found has been the biggest challenge in growing your businesses, if that makes sense?
Trying to think, like probably trying to one of the hardest things trying to find the right people to work with.
Is in people to work for you or as mentors?
No, to work for me, people I can trust and who are right for the job, so we can scale. Like I said, that then I only want people who are going to put 100% effort in, that I know what they've been through and what their qualifications are, and filtering out the team. We're a very tight unit, Elevate. Like we're a pretty small team, but we work very well together. That's probably one of the main things. And then systems. There's so many ways to go around to make money, but you have to trial loads of different types, which was hard for us right now. Like we're still trying to get rid of bottlenecks within the business, upping prices, putting tiered prices in place, offering different systems, and then finding the right clientele. Like right now, something that's difficult is that we have got a lot of volume coming in. We have shit ton of leads and we have loads of people showing up for calls. But right now with the inflation in the UK and everything, a lot of PTs can't afford the packages that are going to earn them that like 5 figures a month, that magic 10K a month milestone. So finding the right clientele is probably one of the hardest bits right now for us.
It's interesting you mentioned about tech stuff. So like, here's another really fucking stupid story, and I tell people like lessons of stuff I fucked up. That same period of January 2021, that was an interesting phase. I made shitloads of money like the few months before, and I started to lose my mind of like, you lose a sense of reality of like anything. And I was also getting divorced. I was a bit all over the place, and just moved to Dubai. I ended up hiring a tech team, and you know, like you distinctly remember a moment you have a conversation on the phone somewhere. I hired this tech team that we worked with them for 4 months. I ended up losing 75 grand working with the tech team, and achieved fucking nothing. And we ended up replacing them with a VA. We now pay $10 an hour.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Because I got oversold. Not oversold. I sold myself into it because I believed everything they told me. And the biggest lesson for anyone listening to this is the biggest managerial mistake I made. I interviewed the guy. I told everyone he was fucking great. So then what happens when everyone else interviews him? They think he's fucking great. Cognitive bias, right? That's
what you do your research. Like salespeople, if someone's good at sales, they're going to have you by the balls pretty quickly because they're going to sell you the dream, which you are looking for, and then you're going to see the value. But what's their track record, kind of thing. And that's kind of what my point was with people who work with me. I want to know their track record and what they've done, what they're going to bring to the table, because there's no point. Like if you've got leaks within the ship, it'll sink. So you just need to make sure everything's watertight, basically.
Some of the big red flags of things I look for, no disrespect to people, is I try not to employ men under 25 because they tend to be a bit all over the place. I try to look for guys in stable relationships. Is normally a good sign. And then like also look if they train and like they're in good shape, because generally if someone trains, they're in good shape, they're in a relationship, they're disciplined, they have a routine, they're structured, which means you can probably work with them. If they're out every fucking weekend on the bender and they're like globetrotting around the world and doing X, Y, Z, it's like, it's probably not the type of person you want to work with. And I see that as a mistake people make when they hire coaches within their business. They hire people who want to maybe do their own thing eventually, or they're not really all in, and it's like it's almost doomed to fail from the beginning because they were never really fully in, if you know what I mean.
Well, the tough thing is, I think this quite often, I teach people to build their own business online. So like you're teaching these people to do it, then you've got people who work for you who might want to do that, but then again they're working for you. We do encourage our coaches to like people under us and the staff to actually have their coaching business on the side. But I always think in my head sometimes, I'm like, are they wanting to just go do their own thing? Like, which is going to take their focus away. I don't want their focus to be diluted. So it's having the right people who are willing to stick by your side and not get distracted by the wins that we're getting other people as well, I guess.
100%. Actually, what you just mentioned made me think of something, and that's no one is irreplaceable in a business other than you if you're the owner. And sad story, but our head coach passed away 2 weeks ago.
Oh no.
And that was a very strange moment in terms of business. Like, fucking don't know anyone else who's had that happen. Where I literally woke up the next day at like 5:30 a.m. I was like, what the fuck? My phone's like blowing up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then obviously you're in a situation, you're obviously upset the person's passed. And then like, I've got a big fucking hole in this business I need to fix. And what I don't know, I've never spoken about this before, but obviously only 2 weeks ago, one of the most important things of that when shit hits the fan is like people are going to look for you for confidence of what the fuck's going to happen and sorting the problem.
Yeah.
So I literally just fucking went and sat in some fucking coffee place in Dubai for an hour and literally just thought like, how can I fucking solve the problem? How can I fill the gaps? And I was very fortunate in the network I have. We brought in 2 people instead of the one. So we're actually in a stronger position. The 2 guys are great, but it's an example in terms of like, this is also ironic. The day before I put like a video on my story of like, when you've like crushed it and like your business is running like a fine-tuned machine, the next day someone passes away, you're like, fuck. It's almost like it was ironic that I fucking did that day before, as like a reminder that when you think you've got it fucking ticked off and it's done, like it's not done because stuff can come around.
There's always more work.
Yeah. And I say that because if you have a small business, you're going to have those problems. The bigger the business you have, the more problems you can have. So like anyone who's listening to this is having a challenge with something. It's like, it's not woe is me. It's like everyone has fucking problems they have to deal with.
It's funny you say that. So I was speaking to a business partner the other day. When we first started doing high ticket, we used like power links. I don't know if you use power links. You just send them out, and that was great. We hit doing our first like 10K months, and life was amazing. There was no staff. There was hardly any overheads. That was such a good time in my life. And then now obviously we've got a team. We've got like 19 staff under us, and I love what we're doing. But Jesus Christ, it's stressful. Like, when you're at your first 10 to 15k a month, that's the best period of your life. You keep growing, yeah, but it's good. Enjoy it because it gets really
I actually agree with that, to be fair. I think when I first did 100k a month, I was probably
more stressed.
No, I was happier at 100k a month than I probably am now because I had less problems and things to deal with. Because it's like
when you're starting out and you're first winning and your lifestyle isn't the Dubai lifestyle, that's when I was my happiest, bro. Because life was just good. It was just me. It was just me and Jamie, and it was just like we were just chilling, doing high ticket. It was great.
I think the big thing most people should take from that, though, is that be careful what you wish for to some degree.
Yeah.
And I actually listened to the interview with Eamon Ghazi and Mike Thurston and he was saying, like, you don't want this fucking shit. And I was like, I can really understand that. Because I can imagine if I had a 0 to all the problems I have, I'm like, not sure how much I fancy that at that point. And no matter how clever you are with a business, the bigger the business is, the more shit's going to gravitate to you, or the bigger the problem you have to deal with, right?
More money, more problems, bro.
Yeah, and you only know when you get there.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And it's an unfulfilling prophecy in that respect.
But men like us as well, you won't stop because you'll never. If even if you sold everything for millions, you will get up and build something else tomorrow because it's the way we're built.
And you get bored.
Yeah, I'll be going crazy. You won't want to be around me. Like, I can't. I'm always hungry. There's always something else you can do. And it's a blessing and a curse, but I wouldn't change it, ever.
It's funny you say that because I think that a lot, and I think that's where people need to understand that there's an upside and downside to everything. With everything, like if you want to have a 9 to 5, you got stable income, you got a stable job, cool. But then if you want to have a highly successful business, like you said, you can have the peaks and troughs, and that's why one of the things I say to people is like, I tell people not to do monthly recurring fucking payments. It's retarded to do like paid in full payments, like 6 to 12 months up front, because I say like monthly recurrings for pussies, because basically you don't want to fucking sell next month, right? It's like if you just do paid in full to the time you sell up front, just means you just have to keep selling and doing your job. Mm-hmm. The reason people want monthly recurring is that they want to sit on their laurels and be like, I'm cushy, we can just tick over. It's like they take the foot off the gas, right?
It's giving that little bit of cushion that they can spend on the weekend doing shit that's not relevant towards their goal. It's like what Dana White said. You see that thing? No. He's like, people want to quit their 9 to 5 and go all in. He's like, you don't have a fucking clue. It's not a 9 to 5. It's a 24-hour job at that point. You're not going to stick at it, kind of thing. Like because it's like you're up early, you're going to bed later. You've got more stress than anything else because you've got no security but yourself. Like
no one's coming to save you.
No one's coming to save you. He did a quote about it. It's like gone viral everywhere, and I was like, that's so fucking true. But people only see like the end goal, you know. That it's true, but it's not safe to have a 9 to 5 because someone can find you.
So like, I'll give you the best example, and like I like to teach a lot from like experiences I had. I used to manage a branch of an estate agents for a company called Leaders, who were fucking terrible in terms of being a corporate company. I originally worked for like an independent agency who were really well run. The guys were sharks. It was super motivational to work for them. Like I learned a lot of how to run a business from them. They got bought by a corporate agency of like old women. You're like, what the fuck is this? And then I remember they had like a new policy that came in. They were basically sacking all the admin staff. A week before Christmas, I had to sack like 5 or 6 women. I like put them down in the room and be like, yeah, like the company's decided to get rid of this department.
No way.
And like no one else would do it. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm doing it. And that always stuck in my head of like people who think they're safe in 9 to 5, you're not, because they can fucking get rid of you whenever you want. And the reality is like, at least if you run your own business, you know if there's a problem. Yeah. Whereas if you're in a 9 to 5, like you could just turn up tomorrow and have a job.
It sort of winds me up about the society nowadays. I think it's becoming a lot more present. And how when you go to school, if you look back at what they teach you at school, it's
bullshit,
shit, bro. You know, when do you use all the things like algebra, like geography, yes, maybe, but like no one teaches you about entrepreneurship, anything about taxes, anything about money, anything that's important for you to scale. Literally fall into a system, which is the whole matrix thing at the moment, and it's actually awful because the amount of money you spend on it. You know, your parents have slaved away to put you into this system to teach you to work for someone else. Like, it's fucking appalling. Sorry to anyone listening like this. I think it's so true though, isn't it?
No, but 100%. And it's the biggest reality is they don't want you to go and do your own fucking thing. That's why the tax system's designed like that, to fuck over small businesses. Yeah. Because they don't want you to leave. They want you to stay in the PAYE job, be the cog in the system. They don't want people leaving and doing their own thing because they lose the control. And the reality is, like, you actually doing your own thing, controlling your own destiny is way more motivating, fulfilling, and also you can decide what the fuck you want to do. Like, you can work as much as you want, work as little as you want. And the reality with most people, like, if you're going to go in and do this, you need to go all in. And the most stupid thing I see most people doing, they haven't got an online coaching business. They quit their job and I'm going all in. And like, going to do what? Like specifically tell me what you're going all in to do. Like, then they don't know. And the reality is, like, I just say to them, like, don't quit your fucking job. Keep your job. Pay someone to teach you what to do and implement that. Build your income up so you've got stable income coming from the online coaching, and then switch out. Because like when I was an estate agent, I was maybe like 20k a month online before I left. And I was earning like 80, 100 grand a year from that job as well. I was fucking laughing. Like, that was a good time. I had more money I knew what to do with.
Yeah.
Like, and then I was taking the piss. I wasn't doing any work at work, and I would just leave when I wanted because I didn't care. But that's where you want to be in that position where like you have some stability, that you have income coming from your job whilst you can pay someone to teach you.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, yeah, you might figure out on your own, but it might take you 3 years. But what's the cost of 3 years of making no fucking money?
Yeah, that's so true. People should use those jobs as like is that in regards it is a safety net, but only if you're using
the money correctly.
Correctly, and using after hours to actually learn something, a new skill to escape it. So I agree in that sense. But a lot of people just stay in it, get home from work, watch Netflix.
In the loop.
In the loop. And then you get to Friday and you get smashed all weekend.
And then in that cycle.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny? Is I like fucking love working Sundays. It's my favourite day.
The weekend's my best because no one fucking talks, no one messages me. So I get my own.
It's not like that as well, but I feel just like I'm getting ahead of the world. Like, I don't know who I'm beating, but I'm beating someone because I'm getting shit done on Sunday. I love it. Whether it's training, whether it's work, I love fresh Sundays. It's my favourite thing. For
you, is that because this is for me? Is because my calendar's clear? I haven't got like Zoom call, like, meetings or any bullshit. So it's like, I can do whatever I want. So what do I want to do today in the business?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, exactly the same. So Friday, Saturday is like off, but I got one-to-one bookings and I'll just message some people if they want to get on, or if I make a sale on Sunday, I'm like, sick. It's a good day.
With social media at the moment, what do you see in terms of content that's really working or not working? What do you think is going to change with that at the moment? Because I think, in my opinion, I think a lot's changed in the last 12 to 18 months in terms of like what's working and what's not, the platforms generally, and maybe a lot of people just copying the same shit, if that makes sense. Yeah,
I mean, the whole Hormozy videos that are going out, they're going viral at the moment, and they're probably the easiest thing to do. Like this is going to get cut up and put everywhere, right? But I think a lot of people focus on trying to go viral. I think a lot of people try and focus on going viral rather than giving actual value towards the people they want to attract for a client. I spoke to literally someone yesterday who's in the fitness space, but his videos were all viral trends, like trying to be funny kind of stuff, and there's no value within the content. So when, from a client's point of view, are they going to build trust? No, they're probably just going to have a laugh and they'll share it, which you'll get good views, but you're not going to get any money out of it at the end of the day. You're not going to get any clients. So I think that's one of the hardest things. People need to stop trying to go viral and give more value behind what their business is. If that makes sense.
100%. I think the way I explain it to people is like, if, say for example, I said to someone like, try this bicep training tip when your next workout, whatever it is, they try it and like, holy fucking shit, this is insane. Then they're going to have a positive relationship with me straight away and believe everything I say. Yeah. And they're going to be much more likely to be like, okay, I want a coaching, who am I going to go to? His content's super helpful and I really like the way he articulates stuff, rather than the guy who dances around the gym like a performing clown, if that makes sense.
It's TikTok, bro. Shit. Yeah. It's ridiculous. But another thing is, like, also I've noticed this, if I put a topless picture of me up, I get loads of likes, but there's fuck all coming off the back of that, right? Then if I try and do something, and this is quite common across the board, if you give something like valuable, talking, giving information, the engagement goes down, because I don't think the system, the algorithm
it's fucked up, right?
Yeah, but it's fucked up.
Because the good stuff doesn't work.
It's the good stuff, yeah. But also, in reality, if you've got 1 or 2 clients and you get fuck all likes, I'm happy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it pays the bill.
It pays the bills, exactly. But a lot of people, like this guy I was speaking to the other day, he's focused on going viral and get hundreds of thousands of likes and views on this thing. I'm like, but are you getting anything out of the back of it? No. And this is actually why sometimes people go into the coaching business because they're getting lots of engagement, but they've got to realise what that engagement is coming from and who's clicking on it. Is it 16-year-old girls Like, that's not going to be your clientele, you know? You need to give value. You need to filter through your audience by giving the right content.
And the way I explain like anything to people is like, what problem does this solve? So the goal of like organic content is to get you fucking traffic to sell programs to people generally, or build your brand. Now, something I find interesting that like we've worked with like clients who are influencers before, huge followings, like million followers plus, and they want to run paid ads, but they're making like 10 grand a month. I'm like, dude, this makes no fucking sense. It's like, you got a fucking huge audience here, just fucking monetize it. You don't need paid traffic, because like you start running paid ads, you can actually lose money. But the reality is with organic, it's like the easiest thing to scale at that point when you have that much inbound leads. But I think most people, that I've spent over £1 million on Facebook ads for fitness, so I've lost a lot and made a lot. But the reality is that is a way you can lose a lot of money if you don't know what you're doing. So people should focus on like the low hanging fruit of what really works first, optimize the systems, and then like you add paid into that mix, it's then like you're off to the races.
I think it's really about understanding as well of what's best for you, and a lot of people don't know. I literally had a call before with a coach, and she got 2,000 followers, and she was like, I want to build my own app and platform, automation, all that kind of stuff. And I explained, like, it's usually going to be low ticket because it's automated, and it's probably not the best thing for you because you're going to need a lot of people to sign up. But if you want to hit your goal is like 5k a month, but if we could do your high ticket price, that could be anything from like 2 to 3 to 5 clients if we structure it right. And you've got 2,000 followers, so as far as I'm concerned, they've got 2,000 eyeballs on you that already know who you are. So I'm sure you can get 5 clients out of that, right? So it's about working out what system works best for you. People listen to this. You do not need millions of followers to be doing really well.
This is a question I was going to ask you.
It's such a
lie.
Yeah, like facade. Like it's a lie. You just need to work out what works for you best.
And I think the reason people think they need a lot of followers is they're telling themselves a lie that they're not good enough to do it, and it's like an inadequacy within and a lack of confidence. And then on the other side, I see the people who have big audiences who want to run ads, is they see that's like the fucking easy thing where I don't have to do anything, it's just going to run on autopilot. The problem is that when you actually have to run ads, is you have to do it. There's a lot of fucking work to that in terms of like, if you're going to run them yourself, they're pretty complicated and hard to learn. You also have to test a lot of different creatives, and you might 9 might not work and you lose a load of money, and then 1 makes you shitload. And I think you talk about emotional challenges, you start like pumping money into ads and losing money. It's a calculated gambling at that point, but you have to have the margin in your business to be able to carry that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, 100% get that. I think I'm actually a really good example because people think I've got a lot of followers, therefore it's going to be really fucking easy for me. But my demographic and audience is from everywhere, from ridiculous TV shows to like whatever it is, and like it's such a variation of people who follow me. So I still have to filter through everyone to find the right people all the time. And then with algorithms nowadays, if I'm posting valuable stuff, my engagement just goes, but I need a few people to be doing really well.
Something I think is really, really interesting is I actually think it's the opposite of what people think.
Yeah,
people think you need a big following to make a lot of money. You actually have a small following, it looks way better because
it's more genuine people.
Because they're going to believe you more. But the reality is, if you've got 5,000 followers, you've got 1 million, I've got 500,000, whatever. They're going to feel a lot closer to you in terms of personal relationship rather than
so
like
true.
He's up there, he's down there. Like you automatically going to have a tight relationship because you're more relatable.
That's so true. I think I've had that conversation with a coach before. Like when they've got a smaller following, if they're hiring someone, they know they're going to get more attention because there's less distractions and the volume's less, right? Which is true. So, but with people who have like a following like that, it's usually a more genuine audience as well. The micro-influencers, they're actually probably sometimes more powerful than people with big profiles.
Way stronger engagement, actual people who probably know, like, and trust them. And it's that like tribe effect. You only need 1,000 people who fucking. You have 1,000 people who fucking love you, but you'll be a multi-millionaire.
Do what you want, yeah.
Like you don't need 10 million people to follow you or to engage with your shit. I think that's a fallacy that people get bought into, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Why do you think so many people get pulled into that trap? Like, have you felt like obviously you've got a big audience? Did you think as that grew that it would have more of an impact than you thought, or less? Because I found mine as it went up, it didn't really. I wouldn't say my audience growth was the biggest thing that made a difference to me.
No, the systems did.
Yeah.
And the skill set. That's what changed everything. I mean, I've been a victim of like trying to get the most likes and all that kind of stuff. Because when I first started coaching, I still had brand deals going on, but I try not to do really anything anymore like that. I've just got one focus for Elevate. But that was, again, diluting my focus of what really mattered. So, what was the question again?
In terms of when you're audience building, did you notice it?
Oh, right.
So like changing in terms of like growth as much as you thought it would? Because like a lot of people say, for example, if you went from 100k followers to 200, like your business should double, which
that's not true.
Hypothetically, yes, but in reality, it's like I'd say with paid ads, like the more you spend, they perform worse because you're getting less of an accurate person hitting them, if that makes sense.
I think it depends what platforms. I think YouTube, if you double your audience, the people who are watching that are highly more invested because you're watching a long video, which builds more trust, I guess. Whereas on Instagram, TikTok, all this, it's flick through platforms. So I don't. Yes and no.
How much are they buying into you from a 6-second reel, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think so with Instagram, which is one of the reasons why I'm kicking myself. Because I remember I had a conversation with like one of my old managers. They were like, you should do YouTube, and I was like 21. I was like, oh, this is rubbish. I was like, whatever. If I did that now, I'd be laughing.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing. If you could go back, actually, it's a good question. God. What would be the number one thing you would do differently? Would it be that?
Exactly that. Yeah. I mean, look at look at the polls. You know.
That's fucking. Have you watched a documentary on Netflix?
No, I watched it.
It's fucking wild.
Is it good? Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're a prime example. They just filmed anything in their backyard and whatever it was. And once you get that audience, that's a very trusted audience as well. They will follow you till you die. Even little Mike. Mike's got 1.8 million subscribers. He's got like a solid community behind him. Really, people invested with him. So, and I think the audiences that you get from the other platforms are not like that. Especially TikTok's full of shit.
It's a waste of time. We've monetized a bit on it and dabbled in it. We sold a few programs. We tried for a while, but it was just shit. It's not worth it. And I'd say the most important thing people should take from business is like business game is simplification, not multiplication. Because like here's another stupid mistake I made in that phase where I hired the $70,000 tech team, does all the shit. I wrote on a board as like our goal was to get to $1 million a month. I like wrote down 15 different fucking strategies. We're going to implement all of them at the same time. Hired loads of different teams to do all this shit, and it was a complete fucking mess because I was trying to do too many different things. And it reminded me of that saying that an idiot will beat a genius when an idiot's doing one thing and a genius is doing 5. And I was trying to do fucking 15 different strategies and implement all at the same time, and it was just fucking anarchy.
That's why you're doing so well, because you've
tried everything.
You failed a lot, which means you won a lot, right?
Yeah.
No, that's true.
But that's the reality. It's like, I know Alex Hormozy gives that statement in terms of like, with business, like you can strike out fucking 3 times, but you can hit 1 home run that's equivalent to fucking 1,000 home runs.
Yeah.
When you find that one fucking thing, you're good. Like
growing up, everyone was like, you need, was it 7 sources of income, which is such bullshit.
Because every millionaire has 7 sources of income.
But every millionaire has that because
they don't become a millionaire because the 7 becomes one big fucking income, right?
That's what Hormozy said as well. Yeah, no, it's so true that, and that's what I actually got misled by when I was younger because I was like, I need this, and in reality, I just wanted to do one. Like it's not what I wanted to do. I just thought I needed all those things, whether it's brand deals, whether it's getting involved in crypto and stuff. And this is why now I literally just focus on one thing because if you do something long enough, you will get traction and it will work.
And I struggle with that a bit because we have 3. So I have 7-figure scaling systems, our fitness business, and we have a call center in Mexico, Closing Force. And between the 3 of them, like the call center are not massively involved in, but it still takes up mental space. And you're just spread so thin that I knew if I just had one, it would be way easier. But I think I obviously can't change that situation. It's a good problem in some essence, but that's when I speak to people like, yeah, I've got fucking 6 businesses. I'm like, as soon as someone's, I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Because like you wouldn't, right? Like you just have one really fucking good business. And mine sort of all sit over each other anyway.
The pressure to do one really well is more than enough, you know? I wouldn't want to be involved in something, like if I had double the stress of what I've got now, pressure is a privilege, don't get me wrong, but...
Chris Bumstead.
What?
Chris Bumstead quote.
Is it?
Yeah, he says that a lot.
Like, I wouldn't want to put myself through twice that. I wouldn't be sleeping, you know?
And I think the one thing I'd say from my experience is that your business will grow to the level of your personal development, also your stress tolerance. And you'll know this from where you're at now with your businesses, is that like the things at the beginning would have phased you. Like, you know, like, I'm fucking bothered, like, I don't care. Like, it's not a big issue. And actually, I'll give an example. I can't remember, like, our tech woman messaged me, like, oh, we've got a big problem. And, like, whatever it was, that's not fucking, like, big problem to me is, like, Instagram account, Stripe account, a legal issue or something. That's a problem. Like, the website fucking URL doesn't work properly. It's like, okay, just fix it. Like, and I think that's where contextualizing that is important. Also, if anyone who manages a team, it's important to, like, do that from the top down, because if you're managing the business and you're scatty, which I see some entrepreneurs, everyone below you is fucking all over the place as well, because you need to be like equilibrium and like same like competency all the time. Whereas if you're like up and down, then the business is going to be like up and down.
But do you know what I found actually quite difficult to do? And subconsciously, I didn't realise it was stressing me out so much until I went to the doctor the other week. When you're building your own business, this is your empire, it's your baby, right? But in order for you to scale, you need to give parts of the pie away. And you need to have trusted people who are going to do your job, which you were doing, so you can focus on other stuff. I think that's one of the most stressful things about scaling, putting a job in someone else's hands who you can trust to do it as well as you, because you fucking care so much. That's probably one of the hardest things about scaling your business, going back to that first question.
It's funny you say that, because I messaged a friend of ours, Chris, yesterday. Chris Spin was going to watch his podcast with him, it's very good. And we're implementing a LinkedIn ad system. And I'm like my big thing is I fucking love like implementing, doing stuff really quick. And I'm like chomping at the bit that I want to do it myself, but I'm delegated. And I'm like, I have to like, almost like a crack addict, I have to like stay away because it's a distraction. I'm like, my fitness business, I'm not allowed to work in. I almost like consult to it of like, just tell them what to do and you guys do it. And I'm like banning myself from doing anything. But that's also a good sign, because the biggest thing I see in most people is we don't live in a world of like a lack of strategy or like ideas. There's a lack of fucking implementation, execution, because most people procrastinate so long for doing things. Like, I'll give an example that we have an event next weekend. We're doing a Dubai mastermind event, and I've been procrastinating on making the fucking presentations for it for like 3 weeks. And this morning I'm like, this is fucking long enough. You just need to do it. To get up fucking 2 hours earlier. I just sit and did it. I was like, that wasn't that bad. But it's been in my mental head for so long because I couldn't be asked to get in the mindset to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally get it.
Whereas I should have just done it.
You could, if you just got up and did most things and winged it, because you're so educated on what you do, you wouldn't have to. You wouldn't build up the stress. You just get along with it.
It's interesting you say that though as well, because I know I'm talented at certain things. I try and wing stuff too much, so I won't prepare for stuff and I just wing it. So if anyone wants to know a secret to look really intelligent, if you spend 10 minutes preparing for like a fucking sales call or a meeting, it goes way better. So like I now try and like slow myself down rather than being like a bull in a china shop. And I think that's where people at different levels of business, you use whatever you have at the time to get you there. So like for me, I was from the ground up was like all guns blazing, just to fucking do everything and just more volume will work. And then now it's more about like put my manager hat on and managing people, which I don't inherently really like doing, and also thinking more before I like fucking jump into things and actually saying no to more things. Like, I'll give an example. Like,
that's so true.
It's fucking hard because like this is the reality. As your business grows, you've got more money, you've got more resources of staff, you've got more opportunities. So an example of something I said I stalled on, we're going to create a Discord group for fitness trainers. And I was going to do it last month and I was like, this is fucking terrible idea. Way too many other things we're trying to implement right now. I was like, just fucking pause it. Otherwise it's going to be like another thing that's mental baggage. And just because we don't do it right now doesn't mean we're not going to do it next year. But it's an important thing, I think, for people to like focus on what actually like makes you money. So if you're a fitness trainer, it's like two things: book calls, close calls. You don't need fucking overly elaborate systems and like all this other stupid shit sometimes.
It's true. It's interesting though, because a lot of people will still procrastinate about doing stuff when we live in a day and age where you can get everything at a touch of a button as well. Which literally no one's got an excuse. Like you can learn anything. Now you've got AI, which is just simplify things even more.
If you think about this, if we context from when we and Josh started, you probably got anything you want to fucking know on YouTube. You got mentors who you can pay to help you. You got AI that'll basically give you the answers to anything else as well. There's loads of people who've like proven the path of how to do it. the fucking only excuse you have is the one you tell yourself in the mirror.
It's so true. It's just so frustrating. Like when people are moaning to me about why they're not doing, or why is it not working for them, and then I'm just like, you need to be doing X amount of this, that, and the other. Like people moan about doing outreach, but it's on your phone while you're on your sofa, for fuck's sake. Like, just like life couldn't be easier. There's not more information at your fingertips, and people still wonder why they're not getting there. It's not because of the systems or the information. It's because of you
not doing the fucking thing.
Yeah, doing the fucking thing. Yeah, it's frustrating to hear. And when people do moan, I'm just like, shut the fuck up.
And that's why I say for everyone, even if you've got a team, it's important you lead by example. So like, I'll still do like 15, 20 outbound messages a day myself on my account. So anyone sees me walking around Dubai Marina in the morning on my phone, that's what I'm doing. So literally I'll do cardio and I'll go for a walk for 20 minutes and I'll just bang out a few messages and then send them to the team to deal with. And that is an example, like when a trainer says to me, like, I don't have time, it's like, well, I fucking do it. Like my time's probably more valuable than yours. Like you've got time in your day. If it's a priority, then you'll do it. Yeah.
So Jamie, my business partner, he was a PE teacher before, and he went through like something super tragic. His daughter passed away.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and when people moaned to him, he was 9 to 5 PE teacher, and then he built like 6-figure business on the back of having that in his head. So when people moan to him, and this is why it like hits home, even when I like feel like I'm being lazy a little bit, I'm like, there's no fucking excuses. Like if you want it bad enough, you'll make it happen. And like that's something that always hits home to me. I know it's like his pleasure. I love working with Jay. He's amazing. But when coaches moan to him, especially, I'm like, you're preaching to the wrong choir.
I think the big thing with most people is they just want it to be too easy, and it's not going to be easy at the beginning. But then, like, choose your suffering. You choose to suffer now. You work really fucking hard. You maybe suffer more intensely, or you suffer the rest of your fucking life.
We're fucking meant to suffer. Nothing's meant to be fucking easy.
Do you want to know something interesting? Most people say live your passion, and the reality is that passion in Latin actually means to suffer. So
no way.
Yeah. So if you want to live your passion, you have to fucking suffer to get there, and that's the reality in terms of like, if you want to be really fucking good at anything, like someone I think who, how the fuck does he stay motivated? Is Cristiano Ronaldo. Like he's in the fucking Saudi Premier League, just crushing everyone. Still at the top of the game, got more money, knows what to fucking do with. Probably greatest footballer in history, but he's still like the first person at training. It's like, how the fuck do you like the mindset to do that? Just fascinates me.
It's like the whole thing Kobe said, wasn't it? It's like it's not the end goal, it's the journey, the suffering, everything, getting up early, all the training sessions. When you look back on it, that's the fucking dream. It sounds weird, but like all the mornings and nights I'm up doing all the really boring shit, but when I'm sat on a balcony and I'm looking back what I'm doing, I actually fucking love it.
That just reminded me of so when I lived in the UK, my office was like a shitty shed in my garden.
Yes.
Yeah, it's legit. I made a lot of money. I made like a 7-figure business in this, the 7-figure shed, I'm going to call it. And I remember there was no fucking heating, there's no fucking air conditioning. I remember like walking down my garden at like 4:30 a.m. to go and fucking start working in there. Having to put the fucking, I had like one of
dressing gown.
Literally electric plug-in radiator. I had a fucking hat on, like fucking typing away. And I'd like look back now, and like, that's the fucking good old days of like the grind that no one fucking saw.
Yeah, man.
Of like making my own funnels, doing all the shit. And then in the summer it was too hot because it had like a black roof on the top of it. It was like flat, and literally it'd be like 40 degrees. My MacBook would like overheat, so I'd have to go and fucking work somewhere else. And I look back now, and I'm like, when I'm like, oh, this is fucking a grind. I look around, and I'm like, this is not that bad.
You find a picture of it. It'd be like that one of like Elon Musk or something where he's in his garage.
I've actually got a video, so I should try and find something. I must.
Oh mate, 100%.
That'd be the best before and after. I'm gonna get the one of like the view of Dubai Marina from my office now.
Yeah.
I got like the weird shit like red like therapy lights in my office and loads of weird crap like that. So I'm a bit of a nerd with biohacking, but then the shed would be a good one.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Definitely do that.
What would be your final piece of advice, Josh, to finish up in terms of stopping anyone procrastinating?
How can you stop someone procrastinating, bro? Like, I'd shout at them. Like, you can only learn to stop procrastinating by implementing discipline to your daily life. And that's going to come by learning to do the things you don't want to do. So start with stuff that is maybe working on yourself. So like going to the gym when you don't want to. Maybe set yourself a challenge for the week, getting up at 4 a.m. and start going to the gym. Doing things you say you're going to fucking do.
That's how you build confidence, right?
Yeah, build confidence, builds discipline. So when it comes to doing things that you know you need to do for the greater good, you'll just fucking do it. And also, please learn to have delayed gratification. Do the shit on a daily basis and do not expect fucking anything for a long time. And then one day, you'll be very happy because all the daily things you'll do will compound to something big. So I think doing 75 hard is a great example. I mean, it's quite intense actually, I think, but like just setting new tasks and sticking to it, that will overflow into other areas of your life, whether it's your career or your relationships, you know, and you'll learn to just get on with shit even when you don't want to. And
that's the reality. It's like probably 90% of the time you're not going to want to do it, but you just got to fucking do it anyway. Because the only person you're letting sit down is yourself. And I'd say the most important thing for anyone in a business is understand everything is your fault, because it's your business. And also, like, you'll know this now with like teams, is like, if someone in your team is shit and not performing well, that's my fault or it's your fault, because I fucking hired them and I trained them. So like, who else am I fucking blaming, right?
The thing is, you know you're not doing the right thing if you're not doing the right thing. Like when you're on the sofa,
your conscience will tell you.
Yeah, like even if your head's in the fridge right now and you're about to eat some chocolate, you know that's the wrong thing to do. Or if you're on the sofa and you could be doing a little bit extra work, you know it's the wrong thing to do. But it comes down to your character. Like, don't build that person. Go down the other route. Go down the hard route. Thank yourself later.
Yeah, that's good things to finish up on. Where's the best place for people to find out more about you, Joss, and what you do?
Go to theelevateagency.online if you want to get involved in coaching, or go to at Joss Mooney on Instagram.
Awesome. Sure, you guys love the episode. Make sure you share it to your stories on Instagram. I'll reshare them with Joss as well. Make sure you share this episode with a friend if you took a ton of value. Give us both a follow, and we'll see you next episode soon.